Dricus du Plessis put up this tweet saying that he is open to suggestions on who we should fight next out of Sean Strickland or Israel Adesanya. And I find this to be quite interesting because at first, immediately after Strickland and du Plessis wrapped up, I was 100% convinced they were going to give the title shot to Israel Adesanya because of, shoutouts to Tony Ferguson for this, Dana White privilege. Short answer. Does this change things with du Plessis saying, well, I'll fight either one of them? Because again, you expect the UFC to focus on Israel Adesanya. And maybe du Plessis is just tweeting this out to get under Adesanya's skin, or maybe he does have a say on who he fights next. I mean, I doubt it. I'm pretty sure the UFC will say, no, it's Israel Adesanya 100%. I mean, the UFC are kind of backed into a corner here because they did not want du Plessis as champion. No way, no how. Because they did literally everything to try and stop du Plessis getting a title shot. First of all, you give anybody Robert Whittaker, you're kind of wanting to make sure that they almost won't get a shot at the belt because beating Robert Whittaker is pretty much the same thing as becoming middleweight champion. Then, because he wouldn't take the fight on short notice, Dana White said, you know how much I hate that, him not fighting when we expect him to fight, so he may have lost his opportunity. Then, Adesanya gets spanked by Sean Strickland, and Dana White, Mr. I don't make fights the night of the fight, immediately says, we're doing the immediate rematch. No questions about it, we're doing the immediate rematch. But Dana, what happened to not making fights the night of the event? We're doing the rematch, shut up. I mean, I'm paraphrasing here, but that's what he said. Then it was, we're going to give the title shot to Khamzat Chimaev. You mean the same Khamzat Chimaev who hasn't fought a middleweight, who only just moved up to the division, who fought an old, washed up, out of shape Kamaru Usman, who didn't have a training camp, who pushed him to the brink, who should have got a draw in that fight because he won the last 2 rounds after being dominated in the first, again with 0 training camp. That Khamzat Chimaev is getting a title shot over du Plessis, the man who just knocked out Robert Whittaker. Like, what are you smoking, Dana White? And then eventually they settle on du Plessis, finally. But there is no doubt that they want du Plessis gone as champion, I guarantee it. And they also don't want Sean Strickland as champion. I think that's pretty obvious. I don't think Dana White has a problem with it, but Dana White is just an employee of WME IMG, Hollywood. So, again, back to the point, I am more than convinced they'll go with Adesanya. But maybe I'm being foolish here, but I am going to say this. I am a little bit more open to other potential matchups. Now, will that mean that they will go with Sean Strickland? Again, I don't expect so, but you never know. I think it's more likely they will try and give Khamzat Chimaev the title shot, even though that seems to be potential suicide for them because there is so much craziness around Khamzat Chimaev just getting a fight and just being able to fight, and they're not going to go with Jared Cannonier. And I will give a shout out to Marvin Vittori, who said that Cannonier deserves the title shot, but nobody likes him. I don't want to say that because I'm a huge Cannonier fan, but yeah, unfortunately in this day and age of you needing to get a fan base in order to get a title shot, otherwise you need to go through a murderous road just to get to the title, Jared Cannonier is not going to get it, unfortunately. I love the guy, but again, based on politics, he's not going to get it. So, who does that leave you with? Israel Adesanya would be their main choice, and are they going to match Adesanya potentially up with somebody else? Again, based on their track record, I don't think so, but again, I'm a little bit surprised that du Plessis is tweeting out this, because the last thing I'll say is I think du Plessis actually has a better chance at Adesanya than he does against Sean Strickland. I thought Sean Strickland beat him. When I rewatched the fight, I can see how you can give Dricus du Plessis rounds 2 and 3, as well as 4, of course, which he won. But I still felt Sean Strickland won. I think Israel Adesanya, due to his takedown defense, due to his lack of ground game, due to him not being as good on the feet with his boxing as Sean Strickland, and him mostly being a leg kicker on the feet, that is his main weapon, and du Plessis is a pretty good leg kicker himself, I don't think that's actually a good fight for Adesanya. Maybe an unpopular view, but that's just my thoughts. And of course, I'll break that fight down more as we get closer to the announcement. So I'm surprised that Du Plessis isn't calling for Adesanya because, again, I think that's a better fight for him. Also, it may, and again, this is debatable because Sean Strickland has proven to be a superstar, even though, again, he's not going to be treated like one. I said that in this video about him calling for the rematch. He's not going to be treated like a superstar. He's going to be given the Nate Diaz treatment, unfortunately. But again, going back to the point, I think Adesanya might be a bigger draw because that beef he had with Dricus du Plessis is very real, and that can get a lot of people excited. Sean Strickland, because he's not going to be promoted like a star, I don't know how well that fight will draw. Again, Sean Strickland is the man. He is the new king of press conferences. But again, what is that going to draw? Adesanya, you can say what you want about him, he does have a history of drawing pretty well. Not every fight he does is great, but nonetheless, he has proven to be a big draw. And when you are given the UFC PR hype machine, you can become a draw. So, yeah, I think Adesanya equals more money for Du Plessis, a better fight for him, but he seems to be open to any option. So good on him. I appreciate this from Du Plessis very much. So let me know what you guys think down below about who he should fight out of these two. Do you agree with me that Adesanya does not deserve it? I feel that anybody who is saying that Adesanya deserves a UFC title shot against Du Plessis is really just a fan of him, because I don't see how you can make a case that he does deserve it. Do you want to see that fight, though? I prefer the Sean Strickland rematch. I've been saying that from day one, but I don't think it's going to happen. Let me know what you guys think down below. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more.